2020 జేఈఈ మెయిన్ ఫలితాలలో ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ విద్యార్థుల ప్రభంజనం. ఆల్ ఇండియా అన్ని కేటగిరీస్లు 18, 35, 251, 253, 582, 606, 778, 780, 812, 821, 1031, 1049, 1303, 1575, 1654, 1753, 1754, 1978 ర్యాంకులే కాక మరెన్నో ఉత్తమ ఫలితాలు సాధించిన విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.
Hello students, now let us start with the next chapter, that is biotechnology. So here we just have completed respiration for the last class. Respiration, I think we have completed respiratory quotient, that is very for fatty acids, carbohydrates as well as succulents, right? Even under fermentation, organic acids, we have different RQ values for different compounds. So even the last concept of respiration is also important. So respiration, up to respiration, that will come under plant physiology. It's a major unit. So what are the things we discussed in plant physiology? We discussed about transport in plants, and we discussed about mineral nutrition, enzymes, photosynthesis, respiration, plant growth and regulators. The 6 chapters will come under the main unit called plant physiology. So plant physiology has a good weightage. We just have completed plant physiology. Now let us move on to the next chapter, that is biotechnology. So here biotechnology, you know that this is what the concept of, actually it is genetic engineering. So let us discuss about the introduction about the scientist. There are many scientists who have done tremendous effort on developing one of the latest and most important life science branch called biotechnology. But here we can't discuss all the efforts of all the great scientists, but let us discuss the 1 or 2 scientists who has done a major effort in developing and emerging the branch of life science called biotechnology. So let us talk about one of the scientists who is called Herbert Breuer. Who is the scientist? Herbert Breuer. So here Herbert Breuer is a scientist. Of course the major effort, the basic effort of biotechnology, the basic effort or basic step of effort to biotechnology, it goes to the scientist called René Descartes. René Descartes is a scientist. The first step of effort goes to the scientist who is called René Descartes. So René Descartes is a good French philosopher as well as mathematician. Now what is the effort of René Descartes, we will discuss, that's a little bit, but later major effort was being given by Herbert Breuer and Stanley Cohen. So all together now we are going to Stanley Cohen. So all together let us discuss about these 2 are the scientists who has done the major effort in developing the techniques called biotechnology. So here let us discuss about this major effort by the 2 scientists. Before that, let us discuss about René Descartes. Hello students, now let us continue with the 3 scientists. So here René Descartes and majorly the 2 important scientists, Herbert Breuer and Stanley Cohen. Now when you take the René Descartes, is the basic first person who started a basic effort for developing and emerging the branch called biotechnology. So in this case, if you look at René Descartes, who is referred as French philosopher, moreover is an mathematician. Now when we take the introduction of biotechnology, biotechnology was familiar to the people, even old ancient people also they know about biotechnology. So what is that, what they know? So in traditional people, or in old ancient times, in ancient times, where people know about what is called as use of microorganisms, use of microorganisms in the process called fermentation, use of microorganisms in the process called fermentation. So, René Descartes described and studied about what was the process. You know, by the time Louis Pasteur already have studied about the process called as fermentation. Did you remember? Right, Louis Pasteur by this time already he introduced the concept called as fermentation. Then in detail study about how microorganisms are used in fermentation. That was the basic study has done by René Descartes. So here what happens here, the microorganisms we take, what microorganism generally we take into consideration, you know, the bacterial cells, and even you know well about yeast cells, bacterial cells as well as yeast cells. So when you take the bacterial cells as well as yeast cells here, they play a vital role in the process of fermentation, and they finally produced with the component called as ethyl alcohol. Right, alcohol is produced at the time of fermentation, was well studied by Louis Pasteur, but what organisms are involved, how they involved in fermentation in detail was being studied by René Descartes. So fermentation is taken care of by bacteria and yeast. So use of invisible microorganisms has gained lot of importance. Use of microorganisms has gained lot of importance. That is a basic step for developing what is called biotechnology. That is why preferably the basic work goes to René Descartes. So before we talk about the major effort of Herbert Boyer and Stanley Cohen, let us discuss about the importance of biotechnology. In ancient time, not only the use of microorganisms, and they started studying about the bacteria. Which bacteria is that? The bacteria is nothing but Lactobacillus, Streptobacillus, generally involved in conversion of milk to curd. Okay, so the very important bacteria here we say Lactobacilli and Streptobacilli. So René Descartes has studied about the use of microorganisms, especially bacteria and yeast, right? Especially in the old days, that time itself they know it very well. Something is responsible for conversion of milk to curd, and it was really great effort of the invisible microorganism, that's nothing but bacteria. Later we came to know the bacteria which can convert milk to curd is nothing but there are few bacteria which exist in millions of number in the milk, which has wonderful ability to convert milk to curd with the help of the bacteria called Lactobacillus and Streptobacillus. Right. At the same time when René Descartes is going ahead with how microorganisms are used in various processes in various applications, you know, by the time Louis Pasteur also has given very great effort to the world. Till today what we follow, it's nothing but preservation of milk preservation. It can be done. So what we are talking, milk preservation, it can be done by the process called as pasteurization. By the process called as what? Pasteurization. So Lactobacillus, Streptobacillus involved in conversion of milk to curd, that is one of the application. And later Louis Pasteur not only studied and discovered about fermentation, Louis Pasteur has done wonderful method of preserving the milk. Till today we follow that, you know, pasteurization. Pasteurization is nothing but what is a method of preserving the milk. You know, low temperature application for a longer duration. When you boil the milk at low temperature with a more duration of time, that is low temperature method. Another method is high temperature method with a short duration of time. Right, boiling the milk for 40 degrees 50 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes, that is high temperature, less duration of time. Or you can boil that milk for low temperature continuously for long time, high temperature method. So those are methods will come under pasteurization. We applied pasteurization tool today in the world, right. So not only that, the use of microorganisms, when you take into consideration, when you take the use of microorganisms, since from ancient time people knows very well use of microorganisms, and later they developed the branch called biotechnology. In biotechnology they have given more importance to microorganisms. Today using microorganisms, what not, you know, we are developing what are called medicines, nothing but different type of antibiotics we are developing. Yes, apart from this, of course, alcohol preparation, right, and different type of industrial products. Maybe we talk in terms of proteins. Industrial products means we talk in terms of proteins or enzymes or different type of products which are producing today successfully at the place called as industries, right. So these all are nothing but important applications of biotechnology. As use of microorganisms in various applications already widely known by the ancient people, and René Descartes has took a wide step and focusing the importance of use of microorganisms. That is why the first credit goes to, for the basic step, goes to René Descartes, right. Now let us later will discuss about other applications, other uses of the microorganisms. Now the major effort is done by the coordination of two scientists, Herbert Boyer and Stanley Cohen. Now let us discuss about Herbert Boyer first, then later he combined his work with Stanley Cohen and have done excellent idea of creating what is called recombinant DNA. So let us see the effort of Herbert Boyer. Herbert Boyer is the one who studied about and discovered such a wonderful thing. What he discovered is restriction enzymes. He discovered restriction enzymes. So this is very, very important. With the great effort of the Herbert Boyer discovered restriction enzymes. What are these restriction enzymes? These restriction enzymes are also called as molecular scissors. These are also called as molecular scissors. Very, very, very important. That is a major effort given by Herbert Boyer in developing towards biotechnology. What Herbert Boyer discovered? Restriction enzymes or molecular scissors. Now what is meant by these restriction enzymes? Now if you look at now the biotechnology, before development of biotechnology there is a complete development of molecular biology. In molecular biology now people have gone into the extent of, so what they have discovered in the very beginning, they have studied about plant cell or they have studied about animal cell. Right, slowly the advance, this is plant cell, this is animal cell. Slowly the development of advanced technologies like they introduced what you call light microscope, then compound microscope, then electron microscope, then they have come down to ultra microscope. With the help of that they could able to see the cell. First of all, visualizing the cell itself is very, very difficult to see the cell in the microscope. After you focus and keep adjusting the lens, and when you focus, when you take, then it's difficult, then only you can view the cell. But with the advances in the development of microscope, even they could able to see the nucleus in the center, they could able to trace out the nucleus with the help of electron microscope. Later, even they could able to see the nucleolus and including the chromosomes. The chromosomes have the genetic material. What genetic material? They have DNA as well as RNA. Right. So it took so many centuries with the great about so many scientists, and finally they could able to see what are called chromosomes. After they discovered the chromosomes, they started applying staining. Staining means the dye or color to see the structure of the chromosomes. When they could able to trace out the chromosomes, and next with the development of ultra microscope and nano microscope, what is present inside the chromosome, even that they could able to reveal, they understood its genetic material. What is present inside the chromosomes? What is present? It's nothing but genetic material. So, what genetic material is present inside the chromosome means the genetic chromosome is made up of a genetic material such as DNA as well as RNA, right? And when they discovered the DNA and RNA, now later with the advances in the technology, they could able to such an invisible microscopic DNA, that is nothing but genetic material, very important genetic material. What is that? DNA. DNA is responsible for transfer of genetic information from one generation to other generation. That's what we say inheritance. You all know it very well, inheritance. What is inheritance? Transfer of genetic characters from parent to offspring. Transfer of genetic characters from one generation to other generation. That's what is called inheritance. What is that called? In Telugu we say Vamsha Paramparanga. Some characteristics will get transferred from one generation to other generation. Sometimes we say no, grandfather is looking, grandson is looking more of like grandfather. So in grandson, whatever the characteristics are there, they are exactly the characters what earlier used to find in grandfather. That means genetic information got shifted from grandfather to parent, father, and then to grandson. That is what is called inheritance. Who is responsible for this? The genetic information mainly by DNA. Of course, RNA also act as genetic material in some other organisms. Along with DNA, RNA is present within the chromosomes. Then people, when they have discovered the genetic material called DNA, such a molecular level, very invisible, tiny molecular level if you go, then only you can trace out what is called DNA. Now in this 20th century, now we are lucky that even there we have developed the technology to take out the DNA out from the nucleus. We can take out the DNA out from the nucleus, and finally till where we have ended, and we have taken the DNA out, and we are seeing what type of genes are present on DNA, and each gene is responsible for what character. We could able to study the molecular biology. So with the help of molecular biology, we could able to study of molecular level of DNA itself is a very difficult task for us to see. But today, wonderfully, not only the DNA we could able to isolate out, along with the DNA, what genes are present, with what characters they are going to express, like that we have made wonderful achievements in the technology, and that's what we call it as a biotechnology. Right. Now, let us come back to the effort of Herbert Breuer. When DNA is isolated out of the cell, it may be plant cell, it may be animal cell, or it may be from bacteria. When the DNA is isolated out of the cell, when DNA is extracted out of the cell at molecular level, see, isolating DNA is toughest job, right? But still we achieved that. So this DNA, it was found that it can be made into fragments with the help of an enzymes. They are called restriction enzymes. This became the most wonderful step for the development of what is called genetic engineering in the branch called biotechnology. So let us see that what is that restriction enzymes have play a role here. Now when from the cell, when you look for location of nucleus, and within that you can see nucleolus, chromosomes, DNA as well as RNA. right? Now let us see the role of restriction enzymes. So this is DNA, what we can say, this is nothing but DNA, or you can take very molecular level of DNA, you can take. So you can take molecular level of DNA, such a big DNA you find, right? It contains million number of genes, right? So what is this? This is nothing but DNA. So DNA here, it acts as what? Genetic material. So Haber-Boyer is observed that especially in case of prokaryotes, he has done experiment taking the genetic material from the bacteria, right? In prokaryotes, especially in the bacteria or from any cell, when DNA or genetic material is extracted out, this is nothing but DNA, genetic material. Now as a part of cellular mechanism, as a part of cell metabolism, he observed that some enzymes are responsible for cutting the DNA into fragments. So it was identified that fragmentation of DNA, what you can take is fragmentation of DNA. Fragmentation of DNA. It can be done with the help of an enzyme. That enzyme itself he has given the name called restriction enzymes. What is the function of restriction enzymes? Restriction enzymes are involved in fragmentation of DNA. What is meant by fragmentation of DNA? A DNA can be cut into different fragments. DNA cut into fragments. Such a long lengthy DNA, if you can take, it's very big DNA, it can be made into fragments. It can be made into fragments with the help of an enzymes, and these enzymes are called restriction enzymes. As they break the DNA into fragments, so this is fragment number 1. So from here to here, this is one fragment. From here to here, this is made into another fragment. Like that, DNA is made into fragments. That is called as what? Fragment of DNA, or also called as what? Cutting of DNA. Cutting of DNA. It made it possible. It is possible. It's because of restriction enzymes. So cutting of DNA is possible wonderfully with the help of an enzymes, which he has given the name called restriction enzymes. Restriction enzymes are also called as molecular scissors, because at molecular level, in the molecular level you find DNA. DNA can be cut into pieces with the help of scissors, and these scissors are nothing but the enzyme that itself are called restriction enzymes. He could able to identify restriction enzymes which are involved in fragmentation of DNA, nothing but cutting of DNA. That is an excellent and most effective discovery has made by Haber-Boyer. Okay. Now later he met a scientist, another scientist. So let us continue the discussion here. So what was the discovery by Haber-Boyer here? Now in the solution, in the test tube, this is a test tube. In the test tube, what is being isolated? A DNA is being isolated, such a long lengthy DNA, which double helically coiled DNA, right, which contain millions of nucleotides or nitrogen bases. Now it has, this is taken in the test tube in the solution. Now what E isolated is nothing but the enzyme. The enzyme he has given the name called restriction enzymes, also called as molecular scissor. So when restriction enzymes are added, when restriction enzyme is added, he found that this enzyme has wonderful ability. It will inspect the total length of DNA. It identifies certain space like in between G and A if it cuts. Okay, where it cuts? For example, the restriction enzyme has ability to cut in between G and A, or in between a particular amino acid called valine and leucine. It cuts between amino acid called valine. So each gene, what you find here, each gene itself is called an amino acid. So you have to understand the basics of this. If you have to understand the genetic engineering or biotechnology, you need to understand the basics of genetic material called DNA. So what we are discussing now, the genetic material called DNA. Right. Now in this, what you find on the genetic material called DNA, here you know that it contains, for example, you take something called AUG. Oh, this is you know, so let us take something like C. Okay, so on one strand we find a nitrogen base is called, maybe you can take the sequence something like GGA or AAT, GGC or something like this. So when you take this as a sequence, automatically what you find on other strand, so on the other strand it's complementary to this. So A always combines with T, right? You know it very well. In the first year biomolecules you studied that nitrogen bases we have purines and pyrimidines. Yes or no? So what you have studied in your first year biomolecules? Studied about purines and pyrimidines. Each purine always combines with the pyrimidines, right? So DNA it is made up of nitrogen bases, and these nitrogen bases we have two categories, purines and we call pyrimidines. Purines and we call what? Pyrimidines. What are purines? Adenine and guanine are called as purines. Thymine and cytosine, uracil are called as pyrimidines. So here what else we discussed? Each purine combines with pyrimidine. A always combine with T with two hydrogen bonds. Did you remember? Very important. Adenine, it's a purine, always combines with the pyrimidine thymine with two hydrogen bonds. Similarly, the purine guanine combines with cytosine with three hydrogen bonds. Purine adenine combines with thymine with two hydrogen bonds. Purine guanine combines with pyrimidine cytosine with three hydrogen bonds. And uracil is the one found in case of RNA in place of thymine. Don't worry, this part once again we will discuss in the molecular biology. So when you take double helically stranded DNA, so here when you take double helically coiled DNA, a double helical DNA, so one strand is connected with other strand by forming hydrogen bonds. Suppose the strand is having adenine, opposite strand is having complementary nitrogen bases, that is A always combines with T by forming two hydrogen bonds. That means this is one strand what we find, and this is another strand what we find. Two strands are connected by formation of hydrogen bonds. Two strands are connected by hydrogen bonds. Right? This is front view. What is backbone view? We will study later in molecular biology. Front view, if you look at the strand is having C here, nitrogen base C here. What is the complementary codon on the opposite strand? It will be G. So it forms three hydrogen bonds. Similarly, the first strand has G. What is the opposite strand has C? So, first strand has G, opposite strand will have complementary codon. G always combines with C with 3 hydrogen bonds. So, hydrogen bonds appears in the front view of the DNA. You know, three-dimensional view was studied by three-dimensional view of DNA was studied by Watson and Crick. This we discussed in first year basics of biomolecules. Three-dimensional view of DNA was discovered by the scientists Watson and Crick. Now we will discuss everything once again at the time of molecular biology. Molecular biology is also very important, exactly like biotechnology. Now presently understand, one strand has a sequence of nitrogen bases. They have complementary codons on the opposite strand. So A combines with T, here A again combines with T, T combines with A, G combines with C, G again combines with C, C combines with G and G combines with C. That means if you know the sequence of one strand, you will know the sequence of complementary codons present on the opposite strand. If you know the sequence of one strand, it is easy to find out the complementary codons on the other strand. If I give nitrogen bases of one strand, easily you can write what are the complementary codons you find on the opposite strand. This is how DNA is helically coiled, that is called a double helical structure of DNA. Now what is important here? So here 3 nitrogen bases, I am writing here 3 nitrogen bases together forms itself is called one codon or itself is called one gene or itself is called one amino acid. This is important for you all to remember. 3 nitrogen bases itself together it is called one codon. One codon means 3 nitrogen bases. That itself, this one codon itself is called one gene or itself is called one amino acid. One amino acid means something like it represented with amino acid called valine. Let us imagine valine. Okay. And next this is something like GGA. This is next codon we call, because 3 nitrogen base. This is the first codon or this is called first gene or this is called first amino acid. Next 3 nitrogen bases form second codon, itself is called second gene or itself can form an amino acid. That means 3 nitrogen bases itself is called codon, itself is called gene, gene express one genetic character, itself is called one amino acid. Chemistry people will talk in terms of amino acids, the molecular biology. Biology people will talk in terms of genes and codons. Biochemistry people will study both the genes, codons as in the form of amino acid. For a chemistry person, they will talk in terms of amino acids. Biology people will talk in terms of codons or genes. One another same, right? So next codons will be like this, next 3 codons like this. Now what happens here? Now when this DNA is collected here, what happens? Restriction enzyme will cut the DNA into fragments. It will cut the DNA into fragments. This is one fragment, this is another fragment, this has another fragment. Way to cut, every restriction enzyme has specific site to cut. All restriction enzymes may not cut at the same place. So, to cut at a specific location, we have specific restriction enzyme. Specific restriction enzyme is there. For example, I want this particular gene to be cut. So, what happens here? Exactly if I want the DNA to be cut in between valine and leucine, so I have to find the restriction enzyme which is very specific, which will cut only between valine and leucine. So where if suppose if you think this cuts between G and A, if it cuts between G and A, wherever G and A is there, wherever valine and leucine is there, it will make the cut. and again it will move along with the DNA. Wherever G and A is there, again it will make the cut again. Here valine and leucine. Like that again it will go to the total length of DNA. Wherever G and A is there, in between G and A it will cut. That means above one is valine and below one is leucine. It has specific site to cut. Right. So, like this, wherever there is a specific site to cut, there it will make the cuts. As a result, you can find so many fragments. Right. So, here as I told you here, what happens now? Herbert Boyer has taken. So, do not worry, the total story we have to discuss once again very in detail at the time of molecular biology. Just to get an idea, I have given this. Now, coming to Herbert Boyer effort, if you take, what he has done, he has added restriction enzyme which he has isolated, and because of this restriction endonuclease enzyme, now this enzyme cut it between G and A. So, again G, A, T something is there, again G and A, again here valine is there and leucine is there, again it will make the cut here. Something like A, something G, C, A, something like G and A, again there is a cut here. Okay, that means here valine and leucine, right? Like that it has made the cuttings, and wherever there is a specific site, it has made the cutting of that particular place. It cut it between G and A, let us imagine. For example, it has made cut between G and A. As a result, DNA is made into number of fragments. DNA is made into number of fragments. That's why restriction enzymes are also called as molecular scissors. So, this restriction enzyme, which is also called as it cuts in the middle, within the DNA, it's also referred as restriction endonuclease, or itself is also called as molecular scissor. Also called as what? Molecular scissor. As a result, what happens within the test tube now? After restriction enzyme is added, what happens? Now, so many fragments of DNA. Now, you can see the cutted fragments of DNA, you can see. Now, this is what is the wonderful effort of the finding of the enzyme which has ability for cutting of DNA into number of fragments. Now, finally, you can see here DNA fragments. Now, this is what is called as, by the adding of restriction enzyme, the DNA is broken down into number of fragments. This is what is called as restriction endonuclease digestion. Restriction endonuclease digestion. Digestion meaning DNA is made into number of fragments, right? So, such a wonderful enzyme discovery was done, effort goes to Herbert Boyer. Herbert Boyer has studied and discovered the enzymes which has ability to cut the DNA into number of fragments, which is isolated from the prokaryotic bacteria and also from eukaryotic cells. He continued the work, and later when he discovered the restriction endonucleases, and further he continued his studies on the DNA. By the time, due to development in the molecular biology, due to advanced technologies of the microscope, the people could able to wonderfully extract the DNA out from the cell, and it made it possible for them to see the sequence of DNA. And not only that, with the effort of Herbert Boyer, it became possible for them to cut the natural wonderful cell DNA into number of fragments. So, that is the great effort by what is called as Herbert Boyer. So, when you look in here, these are called molecular scissors because all restriction enzymes may not cut the DNA into the same fragments. Each restriction enzyme has specific site to cut the DNA. Some cut between what is called, some of the restriction enzymes, they may cut between the genes or amino acids such as something like methionine, in between methionine and something like what is called glutamine, or they cut between glutamine and arginine. What are these? these are nothing but amino acids. So here amino acids itself we call them as what? Genes. Okay, so here different restriction enzymes, one of the restriction enzyme has ability to cut between glutamine and arginine. So it cut between C and G, some cuts between T and A. So every restriction enzyme has a specific site to cut. So in the cell, naturally in the metabolism, in cell metabolic processes, there are different type of restriction enzymes are involved in cutting the DNA as a what you call natural metabolism wise. In the cell we find some millions of different type of restriction enzymes which has ability to cut the DNA at different locations at different sites, because DNA has to participate in the replication followed by what you call replication, and also replication means one copy of one strand of DNA become double stranded DNA becomes it becomes twice the amount at the time of cell division. You remember G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase, right? So to undergo replication, such a long lengthy DNA cannot undergo replication at a time. So it has to made into fragments. Where to cut, it is decided by DNA itself, and according to the cut to make into fragments, different restriction enzymes are involved, and each restriction enzyme has specific site to cut at different locations, at different specific locations.
ఇంటర్మీడియట్ విద్యారంగంలో అగ్రగామి మన ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్. ఐఐటి, జేఈఈ అయినా, నీట్ అయినా తిరుగులేని విద్యా సంస్థ ఎన్ఎస్ఆర్ ఇంపల్స్.